Hello guys, today we are going to start to talk about how we can use the variables and what's the meaning of the variables in Python programming language. And so we need to add the new more file in here like this one, the variables.py. And so our topic is in here, the variables. Okay, variable. Firstly, we need to talk about the what's variable. Variable is nothing but the reserved or allocated memory locations in RAM or the memory. Okay. And so this means that when you create any variable in Python programming language, and so you allocate or you can get the some space in RAM location. And so how can we use this variable? Variable is the most important parameter for the Python programming language, because if it doesn't have, the variables in here like this one, and so we cannot use the functionality of the Python programming language. As you remember, we have talked about the Python programming language in the previous lessons, and so everything in the Python is an object, which means that it's a variable or the part of the some classes possessing the function and the properties. Okay. And so this variable is used to create the complex structure in your programming language based on your tasks. Okay. And so how can we define the variables? For example, a is equal to the 100. Okay. 100 is a literal or constant value in here like this one. 100 is constant value. Okay, but the a is an identifier, or in other way it's called the variable. Okay, and so as well as this equalization process, we have the equal or assign operator in here. And so in the previous lesson we have talked about either these things in here like this one. These operators binds the 100 literal value to the a. Okay, and so this variable can be used in the any line of our files or the programs. Okay. Beside from different from the C or C++ programming language, we don't need to give some specific type of the variables in Python programming language. Python knows automatically what is the values or the type of this value. Okay, and so the Python assigns to the literal 100 variable, but initially it's considered as the numeric type or the integer type or the double type of this variable. Okay, and so the Python automatically knows what is coming or what's the type of this variable in here like this one, and so we don't need to give any further information related to the type of this variable. Okay, this is similar to the auto keyword in C++ programming language, and so this variable is typed with the right hand side values of these things. Okay, for example, 100.1 can also be assigned in here. Okay, and so b is also a float value, but a is the literal 100 value in here like this one. Or we can assign to the string value in here like this one, C Mehmet. Okay, and so the C is a literal Mehmet can be assigned in this nomination, or we can change these things like this one, and so we have also a given to the new variable in here. Okay. And so this is the integer value, this is the float value, and this is a string. Okay, and so if we have this information in here like this one, we need to move another topic in here like this one. The Python can be assigned like this one. Okay, but firstly we need to present the one of things which is different from the what C or C++ programming language. C can be equal to the print A. Okay, and so we can print the A value in here like this one, C, and so if I run this code and A is equal to the what, the 100. But in C or C++ programming language we cannot do that, because the type of this C is given in the what, in the users. But in Python programming language everything is written in the what, in the dynamic memory allocations. Okay, and so the every variable or the every part of this program creating in the what, in the dynamic form, not a static form, nor not a compile time form. In runtime every variables is allocated in the what, in the RAM location, and so we can change easily these values of name by using what, this notation. Okay, and so in the C or C++ programming language this assignment C equals to the A or assigning A may be an error, but in Python programming language there is not. Okay, and so this is the first example of our session in here, and example 2 can be given what? Firstly, we can say that ABC can be equal to the what, the hello 1 or 1 dot, and so we can print that this notation in here like this one, A, B, C can be written in the correct form. And so if I run this code, and so the hello 1 and 100.1 can be written on this page. In the C or C++ programming language this can be maybe an error, or definitely an error, but in Python programming language we can assign all the things in here like this one, apart from the what, the left hand side of equation. And so A can be equal to the hello, B is equal to the 1, C is equal to 100.1. Okay, this may be useful for these operations, and so especially in the return value of the definite function you may use it in the correct form of these things. Okay, this is similar like to MATLAB programming language, but this may be useful for you in later applications. Okay, and so in this study or in this lesson we need to give the some variable types in here like this one. Okay, firstly you need to understand that in the Python programming language has 5 data types in standard notation. Okay, if you are creating any class, or if you have created any class in here like the car or airplane or colors, and so you may have the new type of variables. But in Python programming language every standard data types supports 5 standard types. Firstly the numbers, secondly the strings, thirdly list, tuple, and dictionary. Okay, these are the standard types of the Python programming language, and so we should say about these data types we need to give the first statement related to these things is that each types is also a class. You should know that because in Python programming language everything is in the form of the interpreted solutions, which means that we don't have an actual language in the Python programming language, but instead we use the interpreter program like the C Python, C Java, and so we can translate all the information which is given in the Python programming language into the C Python, and so C Python translate into what? The virtual machine code or the C or C++ programming language. But in Python programming language, we have this type of information in here like this one, and similar to with the C# programming language. Every type is what is a standard class notation, which is an advantage situation for for using these variables, because these variables can include the method or function or the property of the relates to these things. Okay. And so we have the function, method, property, and so this is also a variable, but we may have also a variable in here in itself. Okay. And so if I have this information in here like this one, we need to first check the number values. Okay. And firstly we can assign that the x equal 1, y equal 2, and print. You can say that result of this notation in here like this one, x plus y, can be assigned in here. And so if I run this code, and also we can give the this notation in here like this one, and so results is equal to the 3 value in here. Okay. But what's the type of this x? This x can be construed as the numbers or integer values of the Python programming language. Okay. And so in Python programming language, every instance or every object or every variable can be considered as the class objects. And so if I had this information in here like this one, x dot can be given to to some specific properties in here like this one. These are the standard methods which is given in the cubic form in here like this one. And so this is also this is also a function or operator overloading mechanisms to the plus operation or negative operation or minus operation, which is the advanced topics of the C or C++ programming language. But you may use these nominations in here. Okay. And so if we have these things like this one, for example, print x value in here like this one, and so if I run this code, the missing length argument is given in here. Okay. And so we need to give the array of the bytes of representation all. Okay, this is not an overload for for these things. And so maybe we can use the bit count in here like this one. This is equal to the 1 bit in here. But if we change this variable in here like this one, this is also given in the number of ones in the binary representation of these things. Okay. And so if I push the 7 in here like this one, and so we have 3 bits in here, 1 1 1 in a binary second notation. And so the summary of the numbers notation in here like this one, every objects or the variables or the identifiers can be constructed as a class objects. And so this x or the integer value is derived from some specific class in here. And so x may have the methods or the functions in here, but also we can assign or collect or sum of these operations in the one form of these things. Okay. And so Python have 4 different numerical types in here, like the integer value, long value, floating value, or the complex value. Okay. These are the support types of the Python programming language. Okay. And so if I had a definition of the x can be equalized to the what 109 L can be given at this moment like this one. And so if I run this code, and so we have an error in here like this one. And so if we have invalid decimal literal okay. In order to drive the long value in here like this one, we may use this long variable in here like this one. And so I'm sorry about that, this said 3.10 Python in here and so we don't have any type of the long variable in here like this one. All these values is given in the what or integer or the float notations. Okay, and so especially in this notation we have this kind of information in here. X can be equal to the what, the complex number in here, or X can be equal to the what 3.1. okay, or X can be equal to the what, the 3 value in here like this one. And so if I write this X in here like this one, and so 3.1 J can be written on the what, the terminal page of our notations. Okay, and so different from the C or C++ programming language, we have the what, the operator overloading mechanisms in here like this one. For example, if we have this information in here like this one, and so we may have the X dot add with what 5 or Y. This also be true for the what for these operations, because these two operations is similar with the what with these notations. This is the important feature of the Python programming language, because if we can use this notation in here with the operator overloading mechanisms in here, and so we can easily sum or minus or add or subtract or divide the sum operations or the class objects easily with the what with these notations. Okay, and so if we have this information in here, especially in this type of things, and so we can move to the what, the string type of our study, but in the next lesson we will talk about it. Okay.